When you look into his eyes and he turns away, and you're at a corner table. I never really professed to want to be a teacher. I am a teacher and have taught at Cal Poly, the University of California. Probably will teach some more as the singing, as I decide not to do that. But I've always known that I was a singer. The question was, do you want to be in show business? And that was not necessarily a yes.
Yes, my shit right here. So that's my shit right here. Welcome back to another episode of Road to William. Today we're gonna be watching an interview with NancyWilson. I know NancyWilson from the Parkers. I know people probably know her from other things I know her from the Parkers. And she turned out to be Nikki Parker's mom, real mom, but they was playing like it was the auntie. Like, oh, y'all let me know in the comments where you know NancyWilson from. Let's get it poppin', y'all.
Standards and quality. While other genres of music search desperately for the next new thing, jazz looks for the best thing. Good evening and welcome to Detroit Black Journal. I'm your host, Daryl Wood. For over 30 years, NancyWilson has sung and acted her way into our homes. But it's her humanitarian efforts that have made their way into our hearts. 55 albums into her illustrious recording career, NancyWilson continues to affirm her status as a legendary song stylist. On tonight's edition of The Journal, we'll talk to Ms. Wilson about her career as an artist and her more private achievements as a humanitarian. All this and more coming up on Detroit Black Journal. Good evening, Ms. NancyWilson, and welcome to Detroit Black Journal.
Thank you.
I can't tell you what a privilege, a true honor it is for me to be sitting here with you. I have listened to and admired you for years. I found you as a younger man and have enjoyed listening to the music and watching you on television ever since. But you didn't start out to be a performer. You actually started out to teach.
Let's go back. I mean, I have always sung. From 3 years old, it was quite obvious that I was a singer. I never decided and had these questions in my mind about whether I was going to be one day I'm going to be a singer. I knew that I was a singer. I was blessed. I have a gift that was obvious. I started in television when I was 15 years old. I had a TV show. I sang with Sir Raleigh Randolph and his Sultans of Swing. I went to college on a scholarship. As a freshman, you obviously take the courses that will lead you to a teaching degree. I never ever said that I was going to teach anybody anything. Okay. I never really professed to want to be a teacher. I am a teacher and have taught at Cal Poly, the University of California. Probably will teach some more as the singing, as I decide not to do that. But I've always known that I was a singer. The question was, do you want to be in show business? And that was not necessarily a yes.
Now, it's interesting that you would say that because as a young teenager appearing on television in Columbus, I believe it was.
Yes, Columbus, Ohio.
It must have been quite an experience for you to get into the limelight, understand that people were reacting to you, enjoying what you were doing, obviously. Obviously, you enjoyed what you were doing. And so you could instantly make the decision that early in your life that this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life.
No, I said, I don't think I want to be in show business at 15. I mean, I said no. I knew, I've always been able to separate singing from show business. So it wasn't a question of whether you're going to sing or not.
What's the difference?
Big difference. I can sing anywhere. I can sing in my house. I can sing at church. I can sing anywhere, but I don't have to be involved in the recording industry. I don't have to play nightclubs. I might not want to necessarily be on television anymore. So the show business was entirely different. The singing will never go away. I mean, that's a part of me, but show business is not.
There's so much I want to ask you that's wrapped up in there, but I have to say, based on what I'm hearing you say, is it more the case that a showbiz career pursued NancyWilson as opposed to vice versa?
Exactly.
When did you first know that you had the potential to go into show business and actually shun that? Was it as that young teenager?
Yes.
So when did you get the bug? Or did you ever get the bug?
I never got the bug. I don't think I ever got the bug. I was very honest about show business. As a young woman, at 15, 16, 17, having had a television show, having worked with Rusty Bryant's band, having traveled here in Detroit, I really still never signed a contract with anyone for a record contract. I did not. I was not ready to do that. I wasn't ready to make that commitment because I knew then that would really be of some consequence. Was I mature enough to handle that? Did I want it? The important thing was if I did it, it had to be where I could have a life. I also realized as a young woman that there weren't many women in the show business who did have what I thought was a life that I would want to emulate. I saw a lot of death, a lot of marriages, a lot of divorce, a lot of. I didn't see. I saw Lena Horne. I saw the picture, that great looking package, but then I saw Dorothy Dandridge having a difficult time of it. I knew that I sounded like, people ask me, well, who did you sound like? What did you want to do? I knew that I had a phrase like Little Jimmy Scott. I loved the lyric. I also hadn't really met a lot of female family. I didn't in Ohio. I did not run into, nor was I friends with Sarah, Ella,
Sure.
or Dinah. So I was a young girl who was not, and I was comfortable with being there. Then I was successful. It wasn't about money. It wasn't about how many other people around the country knew who I was. It was really, can you, at this point, can you be chilled out? Can you really be you? And I liked me, and I did not want to change the show business. And that was a big question. How do I do this and remain this person that I like?
It sounds so basic, yet it's profound because we can see that those choices elude many of the people who are in show business.
They're not really aware of the fact, I don't think, how show business can take you out of your feelings. I mean, it was very important to me that I remain me. And it's a struggle. I mean, it's not as though it's a given. And people don't understand that. I mean, managers, agents.
The industry is driven by the bottom line.
My manager understood it. That's why when I went to New York, I wanted this man. He is still my manager since 1959. There is a reason for that because he loves me, the person, not the bottom line. And that was vital to me that I have John Levy as my manager because I knew that he cared about the person. And that was one of the criteria when I left home finally and decided, okay, I'm 22. I can handle it if it comes, but I don't want it unless this is the case. John Levy, I wanted Capitol Records and I wanted MCA, but I didn't go there looking for those things. I knew specifically what would make this career for me in a way that I could handle it. I knew that those three elements were crucial.
You went there ready to achieve, that is, you went to New York.
Yes.
Ready to achieve success on your terms.
Yes.
You collaborated with Julian Cannonball Adderley.
Much later.
Later. The sense is, from the material that I've researched, that you went to New York and sat in with Cannonball, and the rest, as they say, is history. Yeah. What were those first few years in New York like before you met Cannonball?
I had met Cannon earlier, and my first trip to New York, really, when he and his brother had just come up from Florida. Then Nat went with Lionel Hampton, Cannonball went with Miles. And I was still at home working with Rusty Bryant's band, off and on, and I could sit down in my hometown and work for months on end, or I'd go to Cleveland and sit and work for months on end and not have to deal with anything other than honing my craft, learning how to perform. I met Cannonball when he was with Miles. I sat in with Miles's group. Cannon knew me. He had met me on the street in New York, Broadway and 52nd at one point in time. That's where Birdland was. I mean, you'd meet everybody.
Sure.
Everybody who was anybody was on Broadway at 52nd. Cannonball knew. The person who really got me to John Levy was Chuck Alexander, who was John's assistant, and he was from Cleveland, Ohio. John Levy knew long before I went to New York that NancyWilson was in Columbus. Joe Williams had told him NancyWilson's in Columbus. Cannon did tell him that there's this girl in Columbus. When I went to New York, I went with some friends to I got a job, one of the few jobs I've ever had in my life. As I went to learn how to work the PBX, a keyboard for phone. And I worked in the daytime, but I took a job at New York Institute of Technology. And they gave me hours from 12 to 8 so I could sing. And they allowed me the freedom after I got the record contract and everything to go to California. So I had time. So I worked it really nicely.
Worked out really
But
well.
I went with some friends to a club in the Bronx called the Blue Morocco. And I sat in there from toes up. Loved R&B. In the 50s, are you kidding? We were listening to serious R&B. I found Sarah, Ella, Carmen. I was 15, 16 years old. I was very much formed in the R&B tradition by then. And I had sung with my mom and her sisters. Went to a Pentecostal church, not allowed to sing in the choir at 8 because I was singing I Walk Alone and such big ballads and standards that I heard. But I basically was with Rusty Bryant. That's an R&B band with Night Train and all that. So I don't understand where it came from or how it occurred, unless it's because I am black and female and was more attractive maybe than some. So it had to be either jazz. It couldn't be that I just sing. I mean, you have to categorize people.
Never moved by the record companies, was it?
No, my record company, I was not a jazz singer. Jazz purists did not really accept me, although Playboy Jazz Festival, Playboy Magazine, Billboard, I was always either one or two on the jazz as opposed to pop. Grammys, if I was always against Barbara Streisand, she always won.
Right.
Once I was in rhythm, they put me in rhythm and blues, I win Grammys. I don't understand it, nor do I think that any of it is correct. I have always professed to sing songs. I am a storyteller. I'm an interpreter of wonderful lyrics. You may hear it any way you like. If you think that it's jazz, works for me. If you think that this is R&B, works for me. Then since I started, there is now soul, there is house, there is hip hop, then they became, there was the one that almost destroyed the music, disco. Which led to all of this that we hear now. The voice that
You talked about interpreter of lyrics. You talked about storytelling.
Yeah.
I can't think of a better way to describe you as a singer, and it's absolutely correct, right on the money. But are you saying that every night that you get on stage, the same performance dynamic is what you take over to the television studio to do shows like Sinbad, Police Story, and others?
Finish that with Detroit Public TV.
How long have you been doing this?
37 years.
How do you keep it fresh and keep it so hip?
Well, you get a choir like that.
Oh man, Nia Peoples and Howard Hewitt and Tina Marie and Phyllis Hyman and
Andre Crouch, Sandra Crouch. The album, however, had my daughters on it. Samantha and Cheryl and Michelle. We had everybody. We had a serious choir. It was absolutely wonderful. And the lady with the song, I'm really pleased with. And don't ask my neighbors, I mean the emotions. Philip Bailey. What can I tell you?
The first time I worked with you, they kept me over that next week to work with the Emotions, and they did that song.
Yeah. I would not have missed it. I waited for 2 years to sing that song, and I really wanted them to do it with me, and I was so glad that Philip could do it too. So it was a wonderful session that we had, and then to get this many to come back tonight to do this with us on this show, it was just serious, really wonderful.
That's a compliment to you to have all those talents, because it's some people not sing, it's some people who can sing. Back in that group that came here because of you.
That's wonderful. I love it.
Now, as I compliment you, I have to read you.
What I do there?
You're doing a late night talk show?
I mean, aren't you happy for me? Come on after your show. I mean, it's not like I'm competing with you.
Well,
aren't you happy for me? I'm not talking, nor am I doing comedy. I'm just giving you serious and plenty music. It's called Red Hot and Cool, and you will love it. You can't help but love it.
That's all.
okay. I'm happy for you. I'm very happy for you.
Give me a break here.
That's great, though.
I'm telling you, it's been
not your first.
No, this is my third. I started in television 37 years ago in Ohio when I was 15 years old. And then I had another show just prior to Samantha's birth here in Los Angeles, and was very lucky to win Emmys for it and all that, called the NancyWilson Show on here in LA. Had a great time with that. Would not syndicate it for me, so therefore I went home and sat down and played with my kids and went back to the nightclub scene and had a good time doing that. And now I'm pleased that I only, I don't have to be here every week to do it. I can still go to, I just arrived back from France, going over there to deal with this syndication for Europe and the other countries. I'm on my way to Japan in a few days. So I still do all those kinds of things. And I will be in the Los Angeles area next month, which is rare.
Yes.
So I'm pleased about that.
I'm happy about your show because it's just another vehicle I'll be able to see rap music and rock music. Yeah, huh? Yeah.
Steady.
Promo D, Guns N' Roses on NancyWilson tonight.
Arsenio, now I'm trying. I'm listening, and I've already discussed Guy, Soul to Soul, their feud. I'm not going to go, you cannot push me nor embarrass me by the fact that I'm not going to do all those people. Now I'm going to have some. But I mean, you have them on here that would see. First of all, I want to compliment you on that. You are one of the few people who allows them the forum to come out here and do that. So I'm pleased with you. But I've got a half hour where we're going to do the job. You do yours, I'll do mine, and I don't think I didn't tell you who the book on your show. When you look into his eyes and he turns away, and you're at a corner table, there is nothing much to say. Just how plain can he tell me? Does he have to spell it? Oh, it's so when he glances at his watch and it is, and you try hard to amuse him, but he doesn't concentrate. Does he have to draw your pictures? Does he have to shout out?
You not singing like that. Don't sing at all. I'm saying though. Thank y'all once again for tuning in. Thank you for the new subscribers. I appreciate every single one of y'all. Let me know you're a new subscriber. Say what's up. Don't be shy in the comments. Let me know what other videos y'all want to see, what people you want me to point out. If you got a business you want me to shout out, let me know. If you got music you want me to shout out, let me know what you got going on. Let me know so I can let the people know. Be safe. Make sure you zen out, listen to that Andre 3000 album, and get your mind right. Okay. Did y'all know NancyWilson could sing? Like, I'm adding that to my plate. All right, we out. We out. Yes, my shit right here. So I just my shit right here.